then. So, it's getting close to 8 p.m. Let's call the meeting of the Committee of the Whole open at 8 p.m. Mr. Sant, adoption of the agenda. I move that the agenda be adopted as presented, seconded by Councillor Simard. Any additions to the agenda? All those in favor? Thank you. Disclosures of pecuniary interests? None. Let's go on to delegations. Mrs. Sylvie Leclerc will come and say a few words. I know she's quite able to address Town Council. So the floor is yours, Mrs. Leclerc. Now, good evening. Can everyone hear me correctly? Fine. I believe that Mr. Darsh, I believe your phone is ringing. I have to make sure it doesn't do that. Sorry about that, Mr. Mayor. Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. It's with great pleasure that I stand before you here tonight to tell you and to talk to you about those services that we offer with regards to the community services of Prescott Russell, and also community dinners that we offer to see if we can have access, also free of charge access to the Clarence Creek community services or community room. I'd like to present you Mrs. Giselle Séguin. I'd like to introduce you to her, who's president of the board of directors, and Mrs. Diane Dicker, who's member of the board of directors, and Marc-André Lalonde, who's the coordinator here in Clarence and Rockland, and his office is located at the Roger Séguin Centre d'accueil Roger Séguin, and we cooperate quite well with the Roger Séguin Center, and as well as a day program that we offer there. So you have the PowerPoint presentation I'd like to go through, and in the kit that I handed to all of you, you also have a paper copy with regard to the presentation I'll be making to you. Now, our mission is to offer community support services to adults and elderly individuals that live in Prescott Russell, and to help people to live as long as they can in their homes, enjoying a good quality of life. Now, with regard to our clients, we're dealing with elderly people, 55 years of age and more, and adults that have special needs. And we cover all of the Prescott Russell territory. And we also have satellite offices here, there, and everywhere. We believe it's very close for us to be working close to the community to offer services that it needs. Now, consider the programs that we do offer. The first one is, of course, community lunches. And our goal through those lunches is to allow people to get together to listen to presentations concerning different subjects, be it, drawing up wills, diabetes, heart troubles. It also enables individuals to socialize and to break the isolation process and to tap into resources they might need. And we also have over the Prescott Russell territory, we host 16 community luncheons. And we also have 6 municipalities that support us, that allow us to share their physical assets. Alfred, Plantagenet, Hawkesbury East, Champlain Township, and Russell, that allow us to make use of their rooms or community halls to host luncheons there. If we take a look at the Rockland area, we do host a luncheon. These are statistics dating back to a year ago. Our fiscal year will end as of March, has ended as of March of last year. Rockland is our biggest community luncheon. We had 802 individuals that attended there, and in Bourget, 302 individuals that attended there, and in Clarence Creek, 29 individuals attended our luncheon. So Clarence has the least participants, and the reason for this is that the room that we have right now, that is granted to us or given to us, is the Lion room, the Lions room, and unfortunately the space is quite limited. We could host more individuals, but it's quite limited. That's the. How about in Bourget? Bourget, that's fine. Yes. That's fine? Yes. Now, concerning other programs that we do offer, One that is very much in demand because we're in a rural area is the transportation rural program that we offer for medical transportation. So those who have medical appointments, be it in this area or in Ottawa, the Montfort Hospital or the Ottawa Hospital, we have volunteers that accompany clients to attend their appointments. When I say that they accompany them, we're not just offering them a taxi service where we drop an individual off and then that individual would phone up when they're ready to be picked up again. No, our individuals will attend with them, and we all sometimes we have some people that accompany our clients and they act as translators because sometimes doctors are English speaking, and so they'll translate between the client and the doctor. And sometimes, our clients will require the same volunteer to work with them or to accompany them. So there's a sort of like a support system that is establishing between the client and our volunteers. We also have a Meals on Wheels in Clarence Creek, and our caterer is the Roger Seguin Center, and we also have a large Meals on Wheels operation in Rockland that's ongoing, and also in Bourget that serves up pre-frozen meals can easily be thawed out and eaten. Now, when we talk about Meals on Wheels, we're not just offering or delivering meals. The volunteer ensures that things are going well with the recipient of the meal, and if sometimes the recipient of the meal does not answer the door, then they'll phone the office, the deliverer will, and say, well, there might be something going on because that individual is not answering the door. We also have daycare programs. We have three daycare programs, one in Hawkesbury, one in Embrun, and one in Clarence Creek. You're quite lucky. We've been operational for the past 1 year, and this caters to those clients that suffer from dementia, and that's in partnership with the Centre Roger Seguin Center. And we can offer day services. Can we ask questions? Now, do you also give training to those that help out individuals? Well, our day program deals with those individuals that lives with dementia. So an individual can we can also offer services whereby we take care of those individual needs where individuals can't take care of themselves. We also have social visits, friendly visits, and those volunteers ensure that those visits are made. Those are visits and calls made where people feel isolated, they wish to talk to someone. So we have volunteers that will, go through those visits. We also have programs that deal with crisis type situations where people are face crisis type situations. They don't know what services they can obtain, and they don't know how to navigate through health services. It's not easy to navigate through health services that are available, and we have individuals that help them to tap into proper sources or resources. And for Hawkesbury and Ventliquin, we have autonomous life services in cooperation with the Group Action, another agency that deals with the Ventliquin and Hawkesbury area. We also have home maintenance programs. What we do is that we come up with individuals in the community that clean houses, and we try to partner them with individuals that need their services. We go through reference checks to make sure that they perform good work. Sometimes we deal with people that are in a vulnerable situation, so that's our responsibility to partner them with responsible individuals. We also have foot care services that are offered through the Centre d'accueil, the Roger Seguin Center. We have a clinic there. We also have one in Bourget along with the Estrie Community Health Center, where we have a room that is offered to us free of charge, and we offer foot care there also. And going through the last items that we do offer, we have the personal assistance devices. Those are individuals that live alone, and if there's an emergency situation that comes up, they just press on this device, and people will come to their help. There are no monthly fees to this device. There's only a $200 set a fee and that's it. We just purchase this device and it offers safety, as a sense of safety to those who live alone at home. Let's take a look at the statistics in your area, Mr. Mayor. Now, those programs that we offer in your community, what do they look like basically with regard to transportation? Last year, for example, we offered transportation to 323 clients and 13,665 times in which we accompanied individuals to consult their doctors. With regard to foot care services in your community, we offered foot care to 45 patients for 674 service units broken down. Now, with regard to Meals on Wheel, there are 53 citizens in Rockland that receive services from Meals on Wheel for a total of 6,672 meals that were delivered. Uh, Home cleaning, 16 clients asked for help in cleaning up their homes in Rockland last year. Friendly visits, you have 6 clients in Rockland that are visited regularly by volunteers. 64 visits were done last year, and we have individuals attending our day program in Clarence also. Now, with regards to volunteers, you can be proud to boast the fact that you have 113 volunteers within your community that offer their services to help out the elderly and those citizens in need that offered a great number of volunteer hours. We could have told you that before you even started your presentation. Yes, I understand, Mr. Mayor, but this confirms those figures. You see, we're not in Wendover here, Mrs. Oh, please. Well, we might. We're not talking about quantity. We're talking here about quality. Ah, there's some nice people in Wendover, right, Mrs. Ducat? There are also some nice folks in Wendover. I was just kidding here, just kidding. Now, if we take a look at global statistics concerning last year's activities, for all activities that we offer, we cater to the needs of 2,246 clients, 146 new clients, and we offered 78,302 service units to all of those individuals, an increase from last year of 8,161. As you know, the population is growing older as years go by, so it's normal that the number of service units increase, and we do cater to the needs that are manifested. Now, with regard to concerning volunteers, we have 420 volunteers that cover the entire Prescott and Russell area. They offered last year 53,750 volunteer hours, an increase of 4,704 hours. Let me tell you, if we didn't have volunteers, we couldn't offer the services that we do offer: transportation, Meals on Wheels, friendly visits, community luncheons. We could not offer those services if we could not count on those nice volunteers or great volunteers. Mr. Mayor, now concerning the new transportation service, the PR Transpo, yes, I, I imagine that you're going to tap into this, right? To help out your community to move from one area to another. Because given the circuits that they do cover, it covers some points that you might not. And there might be some meeting or gathering points that are not on the PR Transpo that might meet your needs. You might signify that to the PR Transpo people. I agree. It's a bit frustrating because there are some retirement homes that would like to attend, you know, to do their shopping at some businesses. But there's Walmart and Canadian Tire that objects to having people dropped off at their front door, basically, and I can't understand why. Well, how about day services, Mr. Mayor? You know, to have people travel from point A to point B through those groups that were mentioned. There's one in Embrun, one in Clarence. Let's make sure that the PR Transpo service is offered on the same day in which the community luncheons are held, and that where those community lunches are held are catered by the PR Transpo folks. Yes, I hear what you're saying, Mr. Lalonde. But concerning the community luncheons, of course, it stands to reason that we're going to encourage the PR Transpo folks to go by where our luncheons are hosted. The PR Transpo services are complementary to the services that we offer. We're part of the committee when the United Counties wanted to implement this particular project, but it all depends. It behooves the uh, clients to decide upon the services they wish or it wishes to receive. When we're talking about day services, we're dealing with vulnerable individuals here that receive services when we drive them from Plantagenet to obtain services in Hawkesbury. It's a bit of a different deal, isn't it? Yes. But I'm sure, what we did was that we made it a point to inform our clients that there were services such as PR, Transpo. We printed out on our website, or we posted on our website, the PR Transpo circuit. We have a facilitator also facilitating communication uh, in between our clients and the Prescott Russell, the community United Counties. Also, we have the Care Dove services that inventory that we offer. You click on the caredove.com link and you will tap in automatically to those agencies that can better answer your needs. You fill out a form online that's user friendly and you send that to our folks that through the internet will determine the extent of your needs. And you have Marc-André Lalonde for Clarence and Rockland. He works out of the Roger Seguin Welcome Center, and René Simard also works with people suffering from dementia here in our area. And these are our coordinates. That's all I had to state. All I had to say. And thank you. Any other questions or comments? Well, you're offering precious services, and I'd like to congratulate you on what you do. Yes. I think you should change the name of the organization that you based upon the services that you offer. Younger folks are a bit healthier, a bit more active. So you're answering the needs of many individuals, are you not? Well, we also have special needs adults, by the way. People have a right to our services, be it adults, mental health problems, or health related services. They have the right to obtain our services. We also cooperate with the ODSP um, disability pensions, where people will pay their fees to attend medical appointments. We also cooperate to help their clients tap into our services. But we have to work with our partners. Absolutely. Mr. Bouchard, congratulations for your presentation. Is there a specific formal request that you're making of council tonight? Well, we would like to have access to the community center here in Clarence to host our community luncheons here in Clarence Creek that we host once a month. So I believe that we've received your request beforehand, yes, but I'm asking you that we have access to the hall free of charge, if we could. What was the charge that I believe that Mr. Bouchard had calculated the extent, the financial. I know that we'd asked that this hall be offered to us free of charge initially. And let me see here. Marc-André, are we talking about 80 here? 80? I think it's $80 or something like that. Per occasion or per luncheon. I see. Thank you. But you see, this $80 can't be supported by the budget. Clients are required to pay for this then. And clients that attend our community luncheon need to pay $11 to attend this luncheon. If we could, if we're compelled to pay for the hall, then the client will have to pay a certain amount over that amount. And it becomes too costly, they won't attend anymore. I took a look at your presentation. Mrs. Like that, are all other services that you're offering free? Yes, they are free. Those six municipalities that I alluded to earlier on, well, our services are offered free of charge. You see, we readily notice how many individuals make use of your services, and if other communities can find a way to offer their physical assets free of charge, that's fine. We're not. We're talking about $800 per year, really, because they have a break during July and August. So we could take $100 from each of our individual budgets and ensure that this hall be offered to these good folks free of charge. So, are you all in favor that we take the $80 from our individual accounts? Yes. Is there a grant program? I know there's a grant program set up for arts, but is there a community aspect that can tapped into to ensure that this be paid out through an arts grant of sorts? Well, during the past few years, what we've said to ourselves is before accepting those requests, we have to take a look at this. We've received many requests of similar nature. So that's why we have people appear before council. And also to demonstrate the real need behind the rental of rooms. Sometimes when we fall short of income with regard to you know operating the room and giving it out freely, then we have to look at the pros and cons. Well, anyways, we'll be revisiting this situation as of January because we'll be involved into budget settlement meetings in the coming months. Fine. Let's finish up with the two remaining questions. Definitely, I have no problem $100. But what I'd like to know is this: last year there was a resolution to form a committee where people had to apply to obtain grants for organizations similar to yours. There was a committee that was selected, and there was a budget earmarked for that purpose. I believe, Mrs. Chouanière, that you're dealing mostly with cultural and artistic programs here. There is money offered to support the artistic programs, but this activity that is proposed is, I don't believe that this is of an artistic nature. There are no funds available for that purpose. Well, if you believe there's a way, maybe during the course of the next round of budgetary talks, we could consider it during the next round of budgetary talks. Yes, and with the committee set up, we'd make everyone concerned or aware of the deadline for requests to be made to town council for to obtain money. Mr. Lavert, well, I'd like to thank Mrs. Leclerc of the community services that are offered, and I'm very impressed by the work that you do throughout the different committees that you oversee. Thank you. I'd just like to say, Mr. Mayor, that for the month of December, it's going to be my pleasure to give you $80 to pay for the fees with concerning the rental of the hall that you would need to host this luncheon for December. All those in favor to tap into our individual budgets and that this, as of the 1st of January, because Mr. Bouchard has already paid for December, November, well, tomorrow we're hosting a luncheon tomorrow. Well, fine then. So Mr. Lalonde and Mr. Bouchard will take care of the last 2 months. That's tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's fine. Don't send your checks prematurely. Don't send anything to Mr. Joubinville, by the way, because you might not see the color of that particular money anymore once you send him that. Mr. Grimard, you're also in that? Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Continue to have Mrs. Zicar work hard to advance your interests. She won't be doing anything throughout the course of this coming winter, so she's all yours. Oh, please. Please. I'm kidding again. I'm sorry, folks. I apologize. Okay. So she has to make still a formal request through the administration. We need to come up with a recommendation because that's not similar to any type of demand that we require. That we require to be handled usually through the usual administrative. Next item, fees exemption request from Mrs. Joanne Butler. Those, do you speak French or are you better in English? Fine. I don't believe they're in attendance here tonight. Go ahead.
Mrs. Collier, I think I've had numerous calls from people with regards to floods and permits and that sort of thing. It leads me to believe more of an issue of communication with regards to who's entitled, being told when they're entitled, of what they're entitled. I'm wondering if we can, I don't know if we can do something, maybe put on the website, with the newspaper, just remind people of what the rules we set out following the flood, who's allowed to bring things, who's allowed to have building permits exempted, who's allowed to have these things. Because I've had a lot of them. I've had to refer them back to City Hall to say, don't speak to it, I think you were involved in one of them. And then I write them back and go, they don't know what I'm doing. So I'm a little concerned that maybe the communication with regards to the flood is not that issue. So is there a way to maybe fix this up?
The direction from council was to allow people to go to the waste disposal site up to July 31st to get rid of items. That was subsequently changed, and that was on the city website. The decision on the building permits, because it's a complicated process, we said we would do it on a case-by-case basis.
But I'm not sure if that was communicated to everyone.
So anyway, it's please formally call us our way.
Well, I think I just
it's a good thing for them to apply. Like this one should be accepted because more people that raise their house, fix their house, because it seems that they're not getting much money from the government. They're supposed to get a report from specialists they hired from Manitoba, and we haven't heard from that either. It's supposed to come at the end of October now, the end of November. It'll be interesting to see. That information was passed on to me by Regional Conservation. So we're all waiting for what his report. Even the city has paid for the money that we spent. We spent another $1 million. So we're all waiting to see what he's going to do for this. And I think no. So not all. Yes.
The application has been submitted to the province, and the province has been in communication with us. And as with last time, they often question what we submit for reimbursement, and they need subsequent pieces of information. So it's not that we haven't heard anything back. We have been in communication with them. I don't know if there's been a way, there's a better prognosis of when we're going to know.
But I think they're also waiting for that report from that general
I don't think so. The program that we applied for funding support under is a set program that we applied last time. The program hasn't changed, it's still supported by the province. It's a very bureaucratic process, and we're just working through the process. I don't believe we knew until January last time, correct?
Well, the request was made last week. We don't have any further news, but as was stated, we have a certain amount left over in January, and the amount will be expended either in March or in April. Well, for those individuals, for personal residential houses that are applying for them, I think it's even a worse nightmare, correct? The information that we're going to get back from the specialist in Ottawa, because there are two funding streams. There's a funding stream to help the ratepayers. They have to apply for that and to work an opening. We're hoping the government to give that funding support, and if this report comes back in a positive way, to encourage the provincial government to put a program there to help pay for people to modify their homes, that's a different exercise. And we're not involved in that exercise. It's between the ratepayer and the province.
By the way, if we go back to
So if we go back to this request
Madame Joanne,
from Mrs. Joanne Butler, well, that's
they've done the work.
one of many we have to consider. But you see, they've done all the work. They've raised their house and everything. It's reflected in the reports. If we take it off from their building permit, if we give them a hand, it's going to cause less trouble if we get another flood. And they say, well, 2000. Some people say, well, 2017 was the only flood we ever had, but we're back at it again this year. I think it's a good thing to pass on because these people are trying to do something to help themselves. Let's give them a hand to show that it's costing them big money. So are we making a decision for this particular case? So if we look at things case by case. Yes, case by case. That's the resolution. It's this particular case, though, is the same as what we approved before, I guess, because we don't want to be in a situation where you approve one and do not approve the other one.
And the reason why we're saying case by case is because there's a few requirements that we want them to meet. So they have to raise, in this case, to raise the house above the flood level. So don't want to get too complicated, but it's not. It's the way that our flood map is identified here. It's a layer on top of the property. So if they raise above that elevation, they're no longer considered in the floodplain. So they've raised their house outside of the floodplain in this case, so they wouldn't be impacted anymore moving forward, right? So for this particular case, we think that it meets the criteria, but I mean it's ultimately up to the council to decide whether or not they want to make this discussion. So we can't really recommend to reduce the fees. That's really up to the council. But in this case, they have raised the house above the flood. So it's a case by case process where the council will decide on individual application or individual. I just want consistency.
The elevation is the important part. Don't get flooded. Everybody in favor? That's it.
All right. Thank you then. So the recommendation is what? To hand them back over the construction fees that they initially paid. Notice of motion. Now I'm the one that's sponsoring this notice of motion. Whereas single-use plastics are significant items of unnecessary waste that damage our environment. And be it resolved that Council encourages a voluntary ban of single-use water bottles at all municipal facilities where potable water is available, and be it further resolved that the administration, in consultation with the Environmental Advisory Committee, be mandated to develop a program to phase out the use of bottled water at all municipal facilities, and to develop an awareness campaign about the positive benefits and quality of municipal water supplies. Now, the water, our municipal water supply, well, we perform tests. I'm not sure if it's not as good, it's even better than bottled water. I asked Mr. Philip to obtain the lead content result, and we're well beneath the threshold for lead content in water. So the water that is being consumed in the municipality is very, very good quality. Now, the TV advertisements hover around the fact that there might be more plastic in our oceans than fish, at one point in time. The Knights of Columbus when they sponsor events, if they can't sell water bottles, the municipality might invest water containers where people can serve themselves through those distributor systems. We have to make this accessible to ensure that people don't bring any disposable water bottles. Well, a cardboard um, uh, cup, and the spout is right there. But often, people can serve themselves at the back. There's a water bottle set up. Well, in any event, it doesn't cost anything, and water tastes as good as bottled water. We have to do our part. If we facilitate things, all schools at present have special containers. Yes, we also have aluminum containers, and we've offered people that want to have aluminum containers that they ask so, and it'll be supplied to them. All they can do is to fill out their containers uh, through a spigot attached onto this aluminum container, and there you go. All those in favor? Fine. Question period. If you have a question, it has to be a question concerning an item that is on tonight's agenda. Step forward and give us your name and your address. Any questions? If you have questions, now's the time to do it. Come to the front. Not you, Mr. Wilson. Please stay sitting. You will get to the questions at another time during the evening. You have to give us the name and address. You have to address a matter that is on the agenda for tonight. Any questions? Thank you then. Mr. Mayor, you'd voted on your notice of motion tonight, and the notice of motion will then lead to a regular debate at the regular meeting of council next time around. Well, let's go on now to the United Counties of Prescott Russell report. Let me tell you that I received an answer that was close to what I thought I was going to get beforehand. We'll have a mortgage on the Prescott Russell residence, and the deficit, or the county's threshold as it calls it, will not be $5.6 million, but it will be $8 million per year. So hold on to your hats. If you think that the United County's share is higher, as high as it is right now, it's going to cost you even more now, because we'll be paying a minimum of $8 million per year for many years. And maybe in a few years we'll come up to $10 million. Is there any way to ask questions to the United Counties of Prescott Russell? No, there are no question periods set aside for that. But we can always send a letter as a council. So the decision has been taken to offer 228 available beds. Yes, I'm the only one that voted against this measure. Yes, that's fine. So apart from taking care of an $8 million approximate operational deficit, there's going to be a payment of the debt on an annual basis. No, that's along with the payment. So, but we're still talking about $8 million per year. That's fine. Oh, that's fine. Well, Councillor Levin, I'd just like to ask the questions on behalf of taxpayers. How many residents do attend the Prescott Russell residence? Very little. I believe that 80% of those attending this residence come from Hawkesbury, others from surrounding areas. Here from Clarence and Rockland, I believe 5 might attend or might tap into those services. But we received $250,000 or so for the Roger Séguin Center, as compared to $8 million. Yes, $8,250,000. It's a $75 million project, this Prescott Russell Residence project. I believe $40 million will be financed directly through fees. The tax rate that I requested not to go over and above 3% will be set at 3% at the county level. And those residents, with the help of the counties that wish to attend, well, initially we said there wouldn't be any increase in the rate imposed, and now they want to have 50 cents per day. They asked $1 per day per resident. Well, they obtained 50 cents. It's better than nothing, even if it's opposed to $1. And if the residence closes its door, where will they go? Most of those are a majority of individuals that hail from the rural area that don't obtain major pension money. They can't they can't be made to pay $1,500, $1,600, or $1,800 per month. So they increase their share of money they'll be paying to offset this. Do we have a list also of roads that need to be taken care of in our area? I know that the road in between Baseline and Highway 17, we've been harping on this for the past 2 years. It will be done this year. And I believe in the Hammond area also all the money goes in Hammond entirely, to take care of the roads there at least. So the reason I'm asking for money on Laundry is to ensure that the bicycle path is built on the side there. A lot of bicycles travel along, a lot of bikes travel along the side of that road. There's also an end on Champlain, starting from Bourget and Champlain, and then we'll be working from Bourget right up to Clarence Creek, and the bicycle path will lead right onto, will connect right onto the existing path. Also, the Champlain Township, that was refused. The Champlain request, they didn't want to have any people milling about there in the Champlain County area, and they don't want bicycles, milling about there. I understand that, Mr. Mayor. It was looked into at the committee level, and of course, if we'd been dealing with a sidewalk, with cement sidewalk, we'd have been called upon to pay for this, you see, because it's a cement sidewalk. We're not talking here about a bicycle path now. There's a difference to be made here, a distinction to be had here. 9.1, the delegation in Roma, Mr. Cardarelli. That's the next matter we have to tackle. Let me, yes, Mr. Mayor, that the report number ADMIN 2019-015 be received as information only. Seconded by Councillor Chouanière. All those in favor? Carried then. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Cardarelli. Item 9.2. That the Committee of the Whole recommends to Council, Mr. Mayor, to adopt a bylaw changing the name of Cour Emily Court on Plan 50M-339 to Cour Maxime Court. Seconded by Councillor Bouchard. Any questions? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next item, item 9.3, CIP project area modification. Mr. Lalonde. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the Rockland Family Chiropractic and Wellness Center used to be located in the plaza at 2768 Laurier, and whereas prior to moving to 1055 Laurier Street, the owners were led to believe that they would qualify for funding under the Community Improvement Plan, whereas their application was rejected due to the fact that their new installations are not within the qualifying core area, whereas Council may extend and revise or alter this CIP subject. Be it resolved that Council hereby mandates the administration to prepare a formal amendment to the Community Improvement Plan in order to expand the geography to which the financial programs outlined and the CIP apply, and to change the criteria to which area-wide CIPs apply where necessary, in an effort to approve the application submitted by the Rockland Family Chiropractic Wellness. 9.5. Mr. Dart, do you want to? Well, we have to take care of 9.4 before we go on to development charges, Mr. Mayor. Preemptive strike. Mr. Simard, whereas Council approved a $1,271,000 budget for consulting services, design and construction of a snow storage site during the 2019 budget deliberations, and whereas Mr. Barch has been extensively involved in advancing key initiatives such as the Caron Pond project and has extensive knowledge of the city's operations, and whereas the development of a permanent snow storage site is an urgent priority, and that the department does not have the capacity to manage the project internally, Be it resolved that the Committee of the Whole recommends that Council approves that the administration deviates from the current procurement policy to sole source the consulting services to Mr. Darch, and be it resolved that the Chief Administrative Officer be authorized to sign an upset limit contract of $100,000 with Mr. Darch for the services to manage the development of the snow storage site project. Any questions? So,
$100,000 is pretty much 6 months worth of work, right?
Well, it's 10 years. I didn't specify how long it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
So for this particular project, we didn't tie it to a date because really what we wanted to do is be able to bring this project to fruition, and when we tie it to a date as far as for these types of projects, because there's a huge there was a lot of discussion with the ministry, and there's a lot of pre-engineering and all that stuff that goes on. That is really complicated to pinpoint a date on this. So it's an upset limit, and it's to be able to bring the project forward to a point where we could be able to start the project. Very similar to what we've done with the Kyle Pond and Smith in the landfill site, sorry? Montreal landfill site. So it's very similar in terms of the discussions and negotiations that were to occur with the ministry. So which is why we were putting an upset limit and not really a date tied to a contract.
So we've, I know at one point we were looking at possibly having two sites. Now we're wrapping our heads around having just one site, just a bigger site. It's going to be more central than what we currently have.
Yes, originally when we were looking at having two sites was when we were intending to continue using the Learn Bourget, but because of the ministry's position on that storage facility, and that they don't want us to continue using it, we've had to adjust our strategy, and we're now moving towards one central site, and it will reduce the overall capital cost required to be able to build the one site.
Okay, sir.
other questions? All those in favor?
Need hands there.
2, 3, 4. All right then. That's fine. Good.
We have to do something.
We have to do something. So we have to find a way to do this. Mr. Darch is pretty well in on all of this information.
And this has nothing to do with construction, so we've been told, I don't know how we sound, extension, and then that's it. But this is construction. Right, so, we're gonna have a second.
It's not something that, so for something like this, because we don't have the capacity, something we look at, for example, just in terms of a firm, a management firm, project management firm, we give this to possibly one of these firms, but they don't have the knowledge, the city knowledge that the has, and the economy to be able to develop for the year. So this would be a very, very tricky project for anybody to stick with, plus giving this to a contractor would be really, really difficult to do. So it's for this reason that we're recommending this project, and why we're bringing it on a project basis and not on a contract type of date. This is a very project that has a beginning and an end, and it's tied to this project.
They're going to consult an engineering firm. It's going to cost us a lot more.
Plus, if we look at our short plant there, surprised they came at the end. They missed it. So we might get some young engineer that's not having the knowledge. But here we have a book of good-sized media, and get us in. I think it's the best solution there is. Probably 4 years left than what we have max with capacity, so we need to move. Yeah, so. Okay. So, okay. Right there. Yeah. Now, Mr. Doug, they get stuff to you now. development charges.
So, I just wanted to preface things that you're in receipt of the updated development charge report bylaw that is before you for discussion. So some of the key areas that council asked us to look into, all of the areas were reviewed, and Mr. Darch coordinated that review. So if you'd like to make comments about that, may not have the results council expected.
I'm not going to speak very long here, as I think it was clear on the October 22nd public council gave some directions to staff. Two of them stand out. One was with regard to the capital works, particularly the roundabouts. There was some talk about sidewalks, and then there was also the issue with non-residential and tiered approach to dealing with non-residential. So the report that I developed here, it's fairly lengthy. It went on longer than I expected, but that's because not only were there council's directions, but also there was a few letters and meetings with the development community that occurred in this consultation period. So I elected to put those into the report as well. But if we could just talk briefly about the three of the items there, and essentially the slides don't have new information. I've just extracted it from the CETA text so it's easy to follow. But in terms of the roundabouts, there was I think it was about $1.15 million shown for three roundabouts, essentially off of Power and St. John Street. And these were identified through studies that had been done by developers, consultants with the consortium of consultants that had looked at the area and done studies, and they identified those. And we as staff looked at those and supported that concept. So there was three roundabouts into the DC charge. The discussion that centered around our October 22nd meeting was, can we go to a more traditional intersection improvement rather than a roundabout? Because there's no question roundabout takes up more land, can be more costly than usually is in a traditional intersection improvement. So you've got to balance off your need versus availability of land and impacts of that. So when we did the analysis, we reduced the cost in half. You might think that will have a significant impact, but when you look at the charge, there's only 43% of the cost of whether it be a roundabout or an intersection improvement is in your net growth in that 10-year period. The majority of it is outside that, it's in future growth. So you don't necessarily free up the dollars that you might think. So what we it's just to me, an argument like that, like saying, well, and I've said it before, well, we're going to build a bigger structure because we can amortize it for 25 years. I want to know, I want to make sure whatever we do is actually in the best interest of the city, because that's what we call it. So Mr. Darch finished his presentation. Okay, well, we'll go back to roundabouts after you're done. That's fine. But I think the point that has to be realized here, when we take a look at our capital works under the DC program, it's done at a high level. It's not detailed design. We use what we call benchmark costing. So many dollars per kilometer of road, so many dollars per meter of sewer. It's at that level. So we've done that, but you can reduce. I think there is an ability to go to a more traditional intersection here. There's one of the three that I think might be more problematic, but it's at such an early stage right now,
And the money that you free up, when you take a look at it, the capital cost savings of $490,000, which translates into a reduction in your charge, the residential charge, of $425 per unit, or $3 on non-airs. I don't want to be trivial with money, but when you're talking a charge that's 19,000 and change, and you're going back and forth over $400 shift, it doesn't, you have more flexibility if you leave your capital program in the way it is right now. So our recommendation to you, and that's certainly a decision council has to make here, is we would recommend leaving the roundabouts costed as they are right now, without putting in these reduced turning lanes. You can still, when you get into detailed design, you may find you're not going to build a roundabout. You're going to go with the signals and with the turning lane improvements. But it's premature right now to make that position. I know there's been some meetings on the side of St. John Street, for example, with Hydro. They're talking about the roundabouts and the impact on utilities, but it's very much at a preliminary stage. And your development charge study does not contemplate detailed design or even preliminary design for the most part. It's that high level.
If I may, I think it might be refreshing to have a discussion about child. The point I wanted to make, and I'm time to get the slides, is I think we need to give some consideration to our climate change impact and the impact that roundabouts have on the environment. Because the environment and ours are sitting there idling. And the main public pressure in the future is to go with more roundabouts. And just another thought or two. So by the time we get to building these, fake public pressure is saying,
there's certainly much more flexibility right now, the way it's stated in the development charge background study. So that was the roundabouts. I don't know, I don't think I have any more points I want to make if there's any questions. It's based on your transportation study for that area, basically. Yes, you've identified three in your current study, but the transportation study identifies actually 5. So there's 2 more coming, so probably in the next season or whatever. So, but the transportation study also mentioned that at full bill, you're talking about 9,500 vehicles per day for 4 lanes of highway. I call it highway. 4 lanes of road. 9,500 cars maximum. That's from the transportation. We have 4 vehicles on the right now in 2019 that will add full bill on the fall. That's the future. Just that. Yeah, but right now we have more traffic than we'll have on the fall. So that's the estimate. So you're going to have 2 lanes, both ways, to get less traffic than you have on the in the morning and night. That's the point. So I think, to me to say 3 or 5 roundabouts to get the same level that you have right now, you have 1 or 2 stops and 5 lights. I don't know. To me, it's a lot of money, and I know it's development terms big, but you say, well, it's only $400 difference or something like that. It's true. But $400 here, $400 next, $400. That rate's not going down ever. The DC charge. So everything is good. I just want to make sure we don't go overboard.
But you may find when you get into the detailed design that you find you don't need three. Maybe you're just going to go with the one. But you have to get to that stage, and I don't think we're there right now. So you use your benchmark costing, the study, our own, I guess our master transportation consulting firm identified it. I think the developers themselves identified it. I believe the council's approved the master transportation study. So there's a lot of support for it, but it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to build a water here. We'll wait and assess it when you get into that design stage. But I think where we are right now, the roundabout and the cost that we're showing provides the greatest flexibility. And I don't want to be trivial with money, but it's $400 and some dollars on a $19,000 charge. So to me, it's why not have the flexibility? Why not leave that flexibility?
In all honesty, I think 50 years ago we could have planned out Lower East Street a little better with the amount of traffic that there would be on it. We probably would have set out 4 or 5 roundabouts along Lower East Street, but at the point where now you have Lower East Street the way it is, you're not going to be knocking down buildings to make traffic be better in there. So now you're getting a chance to actually plan ahead and be able to see, roundabouts are nice as well. You want to see what kind of cities you want to build. You want to build a city with water, especially ITs. So you have that chance to make something that's going to be functional, it's going to work well, and I'm looking ahead to building a city in many years. I plan to be in this for a long time to come. I still want that flexibility to be able to build something that's nice coming up. I'm on board with what's being proposed and give the flexibility, and if we find something that's more efficient, and maybe 20, 25 years from now, might need some other solutions that are trendy or whatnot. The roundabouts were not trendy 30 years ago. They weren't trendy 50 years ago. And now we understand how they work now. And I think I want that flexibility. So, question about private which is you're in the different. Our job is to as we're going right now, have the plan, and your point was exactly right. I think you trust me, would have been built differently. It would have been, yes, Morris Village and all this stuff.
Would have been built differently if we would have been able to guess more
certain members of this council who I found pretty conservative in financial situations. I'm astonished at not seeing how they don't see the importance of putting away this time. It's absolutely key so that the taxpayer do not shoulder this burden in 20 years of decisions that we could have made better. And so I'm not always trying to come in and shut up because we could have been better.
I'm concerned that there are lots of them when it's a location that is pedestrians crossing because every single time that I drive on the lawns and what's on it would also speak with three roundabout one after the other. But because people are crossing the street, pedestrians are crossing the street, you end up doing stops. Everybody has to see that it was before we stop. So it is good when it's an area where the cost is below these people. And when I see that, I'm going to need to please stop.
Yes, but if I look at the one in Orleans, the other end of the
I look at the one in Orleans,
the traffic is full right through there.
Yeah, but not a lot of people walk with them.
Still have a
Yeah, it's probably enough of where the concentration of that is. We don't have enough people walking.
I would suggest motorists in this region, if you call it that, are still getting used to the concept of roundabouts and how to use them. Obviously, you know, you're seeing them all over the place. There's a lot of places where roundabouts are in existence. It is a, Ms. Collins, right, the environment, but free flow traffic. It's traffic calming. There's a lot of pluses to Roundabout. Appreciate your concern when you talk about pedestrians, but those factors have all got to be designed
Appreciate your concern when you talk
Roundabout.
about
You're talking
pedestrians,
single
but
lane or double lane.
those factors have all got to
How
be
about the
designed
Alfred
into
Barrett has 11 lanes?
depending whether you're talking single lane or double lane.
My kid's trying to run. I'm not at this point. Keep going, Mr. Lex.
Yeah, just quickly, on the sidewalks, I think there was expression of
Just quickly, on the sidewalks, I think there was
to not
expression
require
of,
sidewalks on
could
both
we,
sides of the street.
let's say,
I
relax
think
the
principally we're talking
standard,
about
so
collector
to
roadways
not
here.
require
I took a
sidewalks
look
on
at
both
the
sides of the street.
sidewalk
Principally, we're talking about
facilities that
collector
were in our
roadways here.
background
We
study.
took a look at
And two of them
the
jumped out
sidewalk
at me.
facilities
A lot
that
of them
were in our
were
background
single on
study,
one side.
and
But the two that
two of them
was
jumped
one
out
was
at me.
Sterling, and then the
A lot
other
of them
one
were
was
just
Laurier
single on one
itself.
side.
We're
But the
talking
two that
about
jumped out
sidewalks
was
on
one
both
was
sides.
Sterling, and
Laurier,
then
I
the
think,
other
is
one I think was
a
Laurier
unique
itself.
situation.
We're
You know,
talking
it's
about
your
sidewalks on both
downtown
sides.
core
Laurier,
street.
I think,
I
is
believe
a
that one
unique
as is.
situation.
Sterling
It's
Avenue,
your
I actually drove
downtown
out and
core
looked
street,
at it, and
I would
it's
leave
an
that one as
extension
is.
of
Sterling
existing
Avenue, I
Sterling,
actually
which has
drove out and
two
looked at it,
two
and
sidewalks, one on
it's an extension
on
of
either side. So I
existing
think there's a
Sterling, which
logic
has
to just
two
carrying on
sidewalks,
with
one
the
on
two
on
sidewalks.
either side. So
You
I
could
think there's
reduce
a
it.
logic
You
to
could
just
you
carrying
could
on
take
with
it off
the
one
two
side,
sidewalks.
but again.
You could reduce
Your
it.
reduction
You
level
could
then
take
from
it
that,
off of
you'd save
one
about
side. But again,
$174,000, which
your
translates
reduction
into a
level then
reduction
from
of
that, you'd save about
$105 for single.
$174,000, which translates into a reduction of $105 for
Yeah,
single
there's schools
unit.
along it,
And
but I just think again is, you know, $105 residential saving and a 75-cent
I just think
non-res.
again is, you know,
It's probably
$105
better just
residential saving and a 75
build
cent
your roadway
non-res. I'm
and
thinking
maintain
it's probably
the
better
number of
just
sidewalks that you
to
have on the
build
existing
your
road.
roadway and maintain the number of sidewalks that you have on the existing road.
Can be useful for the walkers and also for the bicycles. And you would like the middle
Yeah, there's a lot of different concepts that are coming out now, you know, sidewalks and how you can
Yeah,
use.
there's a lot of different concepts that are coming out now, you know, sidewalks and how you can use for, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
hate to say it, but the report recommends status quo with respect to sidewalks.
So I
Again,
hate
council
to say
can
it,
decide
but the
on
report
this.
recommends status quo with
The,
respect to
the
sidewalks.
last area that we took a look at was the non-res and
The last area that we
and I
took a
think
look at was the
the objective on that
non-res
was to
and
try to develop an
tiered
incentive
approach.
um,
And I think
for
the
some of the
objective on that was to
non-residential
try
areas,
to
maybe
develop
something
an
like
incentive.
Laurier. So we asked our consultant to take
for
a
some
look
of
at
the
this, you know,
non-residential
where
areas, maybe
examples of
something
it
like
have
Laurier.
been
So we
implemented.
asked our
I
consultant
don't
to
think
take
there's
a
too
look at
many.
this, you know, where
Most
examples
of
of
the
it have
most of
been
the
implemented. I don't
areas
think
that
there's too many.
they looked at, people
Most
used
of the
plans as
areas
a way
that
of
they
providing
looked at,
that
people
incentive. And I
used
think we
the
mentioned that in the
community
October
improvement
22nd
plans as a
report
way
that
of
that would be a
providing
preferable
that
mechanism.
incentive. And
But
I think we
anyway, we
mentioned
did
that
do
in the
some
October
number
22nd
crunching, and
report, that
we
would be a
developed the
preferable
threshold limit
mechanism.
of
But anyway, we did do some
right now,
number
20,000
crunching, and
square feet.
we developed a
And I asked
threshold
them, why
limit
did you
of,
pick
and I'm going to go
20,000?
to
And so what they
material
did is they
limit,
put the typical
20,000
big
square
box
feet.
stores there.
And I asked
they're,
them, why did you
they're in
pick
the
20,000? And so what
square
they did
foot
is they
range
looked at
as well.
typical
So
big box stores and
what
that,
would
and
happen under
they're
a
in the
tiered system? You had a
30,000
threshold
square
level
foot
of
range and above.
20,000
So,
square feet.
well, what would
So
happen
that
under a
everybody
tiered system if you had a
would pay
threshold level
the,
of 20,000
the
square
current
feet,
rate
so that
up to
everybody
the
would
20,000
pay
square feet.
the
Anything above that, they would pay
current rate
the
up to
DC
the
rate,
20,000
the
square
calculated
feet.
charge.
Anything above that, they would pay the
So it's a
DC rate,
it's a blend,
the calculated charge.
but
Um,
it
so
actually costs, though,
it's a
fair,
blend,
doesn't sound like much, but you would
but
lose approximately
it
$860,000
actually costs, though,
over
it's
a
a fair,
10-year
it
period.
doesn't sound like
If you
much,
want to take it in
but
the
you would
5-year
lose
period,
approximately
after that,
$860,000 over a 10-year period,
in
or
revenue.
if you want to take
If
it
you
in a
go with
5-year
that
period,
concept,
half of that,
if you're selling,
$430,000 in revenue, if you go with that concept.
I guess when we looked at it, I looked at Laurier and talked to staff about it, is there's some vacant properties on Laurier Street, even under the current rate.
Talked to
And
staff
they're
about
not,
it is, there's some vacant properties on Laurier Street, even under the current rate.
If your
And they're not,
incentive program here is just
they're
to
not
hold
moving. So
a good portion of it at the
if
current level,
your
I don't think there's
incentive
any
program
guarantee
here
that
is just to
that's gonna
hold
motivate
a
somebody
good
to
portion of it
build.
at the current level, I don't think there's any
So,
guarantee that that's
I'm
gonna,
not sure
that's
there's a
gonna motivate
benefit in this
somebody
program.
to
If
build.
you do want to get into a benefit
So
and target
I'm not
area,
sure there's a benefit in
better
this
off,
program.
I think,
If you do want to get into
Andrew
a
Mirabella spoke
benefit
to
and
it the last
target an
meeting,
area,
you're probably better
you're
off to
better off,
consider
and I think
program.
Andrew
You
Mirabella
have
spoke
much
to
more
it at the last
flexibility
meeting,
with that.
you're probably
You can
better off to
look at
consider a
grants,
community
you can,
improvement program.
timelines are
You have
different.
much more
It's
flexibility
not
with
as
that. You can
administratively
look at
cumbersome
grants, you can,
as trying
timelines
to,
are different.
put an area
It's not
specific
as
charge on your
administratively
DCs.
cumbersome
Usually when you do area
as
specific
trying to
DCs, you're
put
talking
an
about
area specific charge
for
on
a
DCs.
service like
Usually when
stormwater
you do area
ponds or
specific
things
on
like
DCs,
that
you're
have a
talking
definite
about
boundary to
for
them.
a
But
service like
this year, from
stormwater
an incentive
ponds or
to
things
go
like
with
that
area
that have a
specific, I think
definite
it's cumbersome for
boundary
the
to them. But
administration. You're
this
better
year,
off
for
to
an
look
incentive
at a
and to go
community
with area
improvement
specific, I think
program.
is cumbersome for the administration.
So,
You're better off to
I don't know
look
if
at
there's
a community
anything
improvement
more, any
program.
questions you have on that?
So
Well, the only
I
thing
don't know if
is
there's anything more or any questions you have on that.
program to be able to subsidize people, so it's money that you have outside to be spent to be able to get there versus from the charges, it's just simply the rate that we pay. Just keep in mind that right now, that's part of the issue that we have, is that we can't get people who are willing to either build or to do something with the land that we actually have right now. So as much as we're saying it's not encouraging people, well, if the rate is even higher, how is that encouraging people? I mean, I don't see it as being better. So right now, no one's building, so let's, if we keep the price there, doesn't mean that it's gonna, even if we get higher, well, I would argue that it will clearly not help. That's just the way, I mean, I'm trying to understand, but,
You'll realize a shortfall in your revenue.
That's just the way, I mean,
As long as you understand, I guess that,
But you'll
I always
realize
say
there's
there's no
shortfall in
magic
your
here in
revenue.
terms of,
As
you've
long
got,
as you
what
understand, I guess
happens,
that
you lose that
I
revenue
always say
stream,
there's no magic
then
here
you've got to
in
make
terms
that
of
up
you've
somewhere.
got
And
if
that's
the growth
on
happens
DC
and you lose
source.
that revenue
And so
stream,
you're
then
probably
you've got to make
looking
that
at
up
your
from
tax
somewhere,
rate
and
mechanism.
that's going to be from a non-DC source. And
So
you're
you're
probably
looking at
your
tax
tax rate.
rate,
I didn't
tax
use
rate
mine.
or service charges. So
So you're
if
looking
there's
at
that
you're looking
shortfall,
at
you've got
tax
to
rate
make it up.
or
I just look at
service
what's the
charges,
revenue.
so if there's that shortfall, you've got to make it up.
You're gonna look, 2015, with a bigger break. When we increased by, and the increase on commercial, I believe, was 50%. 50% on commercial.
The increase on the commercial, I believe, is 50%.
9, 12, it was around 20. So even with that, right, so we're talking back in 2015, and we had the exact same conversations in 2015. No one's gonna build. And then what we had years
No one's gonna build.
the money,
We had that one of the
charge, development charges, and I've spoken to
the money,
one developer specifically who said,
and I've spoken
charge
to
whatever you want,
the record
build into the price of the house,
specifically who said,
pass it on to.
charge whatever you want,
At the end of the day,
built into the
we are responsible for making sure that we're gonna have enough money in 10, 20, 30 years, everything that we're going to
we
need
are
to do.
responsible for making
And the item is very little right after
that
this.
30 years for everything that we're going to do. And
That's
the
how
item
much
is primarily
we're
going to be
spending on,
after this, which
the construction fee.
is how much
5 million as development charges, and now 60.9 debt.
5 million.
What would it have been? What would it be
And now
if
60.
we wouldn't have the development charges actually increasing?
What would
We
it have
would
been?
give that guarantee that the taxpayer
We would
is
have
going to
been
be shouldering a lot more of this cost if you want to have
guarantee
a
that
plan
the
in place to make sure that it's happening.
children a
I
lot
trust
more
them because this is what they do. And I understand that developers are going to be upset by
I
this.
trust them.
But I can also know that they were upset in 2015.
And I understand that developers are going to be upset by that.
Housing
But I
permits
also know that they were
skyrocketing.
2015,
So
and the housing
at some point, we're going to have to fight for this, and I will always
so
be on the side of reasonable.
at some point we're going to have to fight the lowland, and I will always be on the side of reasonable land.
There's just one other slide I'd like to put up, is that last one. That might,
There's just one other slide I'd like to put up,
Yeah,
as the
here.
last one. that might-
this is just for your benefit here. It shows the progression, I guess, of the
This is
analyses
just
that we've done.
For your,
So on your
for your
far left,
benefit
that's
here,
your current
it shows the
DC rate.
progression, I guess, of the
Public
analyses
rate,
that we've done.
is the
So on
next
your far
column.
left, that's your
And
current
then,
DC
the
rate.
DC rates
Public
that,
meeting rate, is the
I
next
guess the
column.
second from
And then,
right,
the
right,
DC rates,
that would be
that,
just if you
I
adopted the
guess the
recommendations
second
of
from right in from the right, that would be just if you
if you were to
adopted the
go with reduction
recommendations
of
that
the
we
cost of the roundabouts, the sidewalks,
if you were to go with the reduction in the cost of the roundabouts, the
that
sidewalks,
last column.
this,
And I want to make sure you
DC
understand
rates
is that
that
as
we're
part of the
recommending
consultation
are that
process
last
we had,
column.
one of
And
the
I want to make
developers
sure
came
you
to see
understand
us,
is that as part of the
representing the
consultation
regional group,
process we had, one of
and
the
they drew to our
developers
attention
come in to
that
see us,
council considered an item back
representing the
in
regional group,
January of
and
2018
they drew to our
and
attention
had
that
adopted
council
that,
had considered an
and
item back
there
in
was a
January of
$450,000
2018,
intersection
and
improvement
had
to
adopted
the version
that,
17.
and there was
The
a $450,000
motion was that it
intersection
would be
improvement
included in the
at
development
version
charge background
17.
study,
That
and we
the
had
motion
got
was
that
is
piece
that
of work
it
in
would be
there. So
included in
that's
the
why
development
you see
charge
a slight
background study,
increase
and we
over
had not that piece of
the
work in
October
there.
22nd
So that's why
meeting.
you'll see a slight increase
We
over
made the commitment,
the
the city had made the
October
commitment at that time.
22nd meeting. We'd made the commitment, the city had made the commitment at that time to put it up. Yeah.
So the report, make a decision.
Sorry, I didn't catch it.
Sorry, I didn't catch
I
it.
guess what I'd like, what we're advancing to you is that you approve the
Yeah.
report
I guess
as
what I'd like
it's
to,
written, which would have
what we're
those
advancing
DC
to you
rates
is
and
that
the
you
attached
approve the
bylaw that's in your
report
report.
as it's written,
Just
which
shows
would have those
including
DC rates in it.
for
The
that
attached bylaw
Clarence
that's in your
Crossing
report,
development,
just shows
and then
including
everything
the
else
work for
status
that
quo.
Clarence
What
Crossing
I'm hoping
development,
though is if
and that
council
whole,
for whatever
everything
reason
else would
doesn't
remain status
want to go
quo.
with that, is to
What
give
I'm
us
hoping
clear
though is
direction of
if
what
council
to do
for whatever reason
because
doesn't want to go with
this
that,
back
is that you
to
give
the
us
December
clear
2nd
direction
meeting
about
for
what
final
you do
passage.
want, because
I'm getting a
we
little
need to bring
concerned
this back
with
to the
deadline
December
date
2nd
this
meeting for final
February
passage.
of
I'm getting a
2020.
little concerned
So,
with the
I
deadline
guess
date that's
our
looming in
recommendation to you
February
is
of
approve the
2020.
bylaw that's
So,
attached to this report,
I guess
recommended
our
before
recommendation
the
to you
December
is
2nd meeting
approve
of council.
the
It would have
bylaw
those
that's attached to
rates
this
on
report,
the far
recommend
right.
it go forward to the December 2nd meeting of council. It would have those rates though on the far right. You mentioned the consequences with
Well, then you're starting, the window's really starting to close because February 2nd.
Well, then it's starting, the window's really starting to close because February 2nd, you have to have
I
a new
don't like
development
taking
change
that
bylaw in
close
place,
to the
or
wire.
you can't collect
So,
DCs.
I guess what
I don't
I'm
like
strongly
taking it that
recommending to
close
council
to
is
the
give us the
wire.
direction based on what you've heard
So,
tonight.
I guess what
got
I'm
this with some
strongly recommending
modification.
to council is give us the direction
Say,
based on
we
what
want
you've
you
heard
to
tonight.
take
Either you
the
adopt
sidewalks
this or
out,
some
go
modification.
back,
If
the
you
DC
say we want
bylaw
you to
accordingly
take
and
the
bring it
sidewalks
forward
out,
to you on the
we'll
second
go
floor.
back and amend the DC bylaw accordingly and bring it forward
is
to you on the second for approval.
So the point before.
But in the study,
Approve.
you still have this window that, so how come we can't take that out?
But in the study, you still have the slow down for
There's two,
protection.
there's two developments in the DC plan, the one for the Rockland corridor.
There's two slow down developments.
How come we're not taking down the
One, the one for
fence?
the Rockland corridor.
You go ahead.
How come we're not
Strategies that we implement to one site, but we still don't
You
have
go ahead,
one
Andrew.
site that's solid. We still don't have the strategy that's done to make this, that's the strategy that the administration is running. We still have to make sure that it, I can get some finding a site that separate sites to support the
You may end up, even though that's not the preferred solution, you still may end up having two separate
rural
sites
area
to support
closer to
the
the rock. That's not the preferred solution, but still risks are covered at this stage.
That's not the preferred solution, but it's still a risk. So we weren't comfortable at this stage moving out
So,
of these.
I remember that's one of that some patient were made and apparently that these charges did not cover for their role. It wasn't really covering all the costs of it, remember? So this is what we don't want to happen. We're ready that we've done more, not short, because and I agree we won't need people, it's difficult enough to do that, and we're hoping that there will be more construction, but necessitates, requires additional higher stations, the state personnel, the sidewalks. If you think of it, all the costs that go involved, you have the choice. You have to charge us. And it's easier to charge a ribbon like that all the time than having to do a big job. And it's easier to charge a ribbon like that all the time than having to do a big job.
Essentially, I'm willing to go with these recommendations in regards to non-residential, but we do need to have more investment. So in regards to the CIP, I would like to suggest that staff come back with essentially a report that identifies how we can utilize or amend the current CIP that we have and how we can entice local developers to essentially develop and build. How can we take advantage of this and what does it mean from us in order, we can take, but we're also going to give in order for it to help with development.
Well, the first resolution I'm going to ask is for the money to staff.
Well, the first resolution I'm going to ask is for the money to staff.
Whereas the city of Clarence Rock must update its current development charges bylaw 2020, and whereas the public meeting charges bylaw 2019 in accordance with the requirements of the Development Charges Act, and whereas staff has required development charges bylaw associated facts in relation to the comments received from public meeting. Whereas staff has incorporated amendments to the bylaw background communities on a staff meeting that the committee of the whole recommends that council adopts and updates development charges bylaw appended to report number Edwards 2019-016, and the council confirms that the charge made to the draft bylaw presented at the public meeting of October 22nd, 2019 are minor changes, and therefore no further public meetings are required for passage of the proposed development charges bylaw.
Seconded by Mr. Zant. All those in favor? Carried. Item 9.6, contract award, wastewater treatment plant. Whereas Council has approved funding for the wastewater treatment plant upgrades in the amount of $12,600,000, and whereas tenders were called to retain a general contractor for this project, whereas Louis W. Bray Limited submitted the lowest bid in the amount of $16,923,760, excluding HST, and whereas the revised project expenditures for the upgrades are now estimated to be $22 million, be it resolved that an additional $9,400,000 in funding authority be approved for this project bringing the project cost upset limit to $22 million. Be it resolved further that the additional funding be secured from the issuance of long-term debt. Be it resolved that the city execute an agreement with Louis W. Bray Limited in the amount of $16,923,760, excluding HST, for the construction of the wastewater treatment plant upgrade. Seconded. Questions? Well, I would like to know, of course, that we're going to have some fees. I was wondering if all the citizens will be paying for that, or, well, firstly, it's going to be paid through development phase or freeze, should I say? Or so Clarence Creek, St. Pascal fees, or those who don't pay any fees, like Clarence Creek, for example, are not impacted with regard to this, concerning this. Fine. All those in favor then? Carried, thank you. Item 9.7, Protective Services, Mrs. Chouanière. Mr. Mayor, I move that report number PRO 2019-025 in regards to monthly statistics be received as information. Seconded by Councillor Zant. Questions? Mr. Lalonde? Mr. Wilson?
There's a section on prevention.
I know in the report, there's a section on prevention.
Those are your long-term facilities, long-term care.
Fire drills and vulnerable occupancy.
What?
So those are your long-term facility, long-term care.
Which basically is, we did one this year.
One.
That's it.
Basically, we did one this year. That's it.
Last year we did two.
They're required to still fire drills throughout the year. There's that.
But I mean, if these are vulnerable populations, I would expect our prevention chief.
But I mean,
Much every
these
single
are
one.
all vulnerable populations.
I mean, this is where if literally shit hits the fan, this is where you may have a lot of issues. Extinguishing a fire or whatever medical emergency, whatever the case may be. I think we have someone there willing doing that type of job. You should be the one coordinating and be part of that protocol. Yes. To me, I just saw those numbers, I'm like, so we're not doing the others. So I'm glad you're saying we are doing the others. Same thing for the schools. I mean, obviously, he's doing more of the school stuff, which is great. But I think as a prevention chief, he needs to focus on those five, vulnerable populations.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Wilson, don't they have to make one anyways on the license? They have to make so many prevention practices.
So through the mayor, council may recall a number of years ago, there were changes made under provincial law that require inspections of design. So that required by law. And part of that inspection is they have to use records of the fire drills that they are conducting. So they have to get part of that inspection, some underlying system staff that they haven't seen. So they still have to provide that through their pending inspections, or mandatory inspections of their facilities. And they are often required to produce copies of those same reports for their license.
Plus, they have to have a sprinkler system down in all regions. I don't know about apartments, the same thing.
It's specifically implemented discrimination, there is a little bit of fire scope for that to apply. So taking for example, they have a couple more years and they have got to figure out how to screw the entire building. And certainly, so find similar solutions in that environment. Can I take all the establishments have to take some responsibility. It's like in elementary schools, they all the children, but they fire inspections completed, or is there different, how are they represented in those fire inspections completed? Typically, they would follow the typical fire inspections, but it will be done here. If they require fire inspections as part of their license requirements, they would call and make that request. Certainly, I mean, I guess to answer Councilor Lalonde's question, if there was a request made by vulnerable occupancy, we'll always go to those. We're still mandated by law to respond to all complaint request inspections. It just depends on how we attribute it on this board. If anyone calls and says, I'd like an inspection of my business done, or I'd like someone to be here and supervise the article, we're obligated by law to go and do it. So certainly, we'll make every effort to do those things.
We're obligated by law to go and do it.
All those in favor then? Do you have any questions for department heads? Mr. Lalonde, a suggestion for next year, do it after we've approved the budget, because right now it's in the package and it's not the accurate numbers. We just do one a year. Maybe look into doing it in January or something like that, so we have accurate numbers to present to the population like that. Just a suggestion. Mr. Levad, yes. I guess that special meeting that we're going to have, that's just to put together the road program, I guess, is it not? I'm not sure what you're getting at there, are you? Well, the roads to be done, left to be done in the city, yes. That special meeting is still going on, yes, yes it is. Yeah, we had a brief discussion meeting prior to this meeting, yes. Fine, I'm just not sure that, was it a question? Were you asking something? No, fine. We'll still be at the meeting. A question is, are we still going to have a meeting, or do we have a date? I just want to make sure that it's going on. Yes, it's going forward. Mr. Cardarelli?
It is, sorry, yep.
Essentially, in regards to the CIP, I just want to make sure that we'll be provided with a report. Yes, we'll provide you with a report as to the CIP can be used, create an incentive, that's the goal, and then what types of programs will be included. Yes. Thank you. Mr. Zant? Mr. Chouanier? Well, with regards to roads, again, those roads that were on the list that needed to be done last year have not yet been done, but you've indicated, I believe, that these roads will be worked on very soon. Yes. So I think that we're going to have to come back with a kind of guidance in terms of what this meeting is going to look like, so that we have an idea as to what will be presented to you. But that is something that can be considered in the 10-year plan. But from what I understand, your plan has not worked for most councillors, so we'll be looking at the principle. But I believe that this motion called for those roads that needed to be done, We need to get back to that again. Well, they were on the 10-year plan. They weren't approved in the budget, but they were on the 10-year plan. So essentially, what's on the 10-year plan is up for review, right? For discussion? No.
Review, right? In discussion?
Because St. Felix to Russell, this stretch had been approved to be done, and it hasn't been done. It's part of the budget that was passed last year. Well, that's something that we can discuss when we get into budgetary talks. I just want to make sure that this will be the situation. Yeah, we'll bring it back, and we can consider it. Okay, then, that's it. So, adjournment called at 9:32. Thank you, and good evening, everybody, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you.